Francis Mauigoa, the right tackle out of Miami. Junior, only 20 years of age, will be 21 in June. 6'6", 315 pounds. Marino got to the national championship this year, amongst other accolades. He had the ACC Jacobs blocking trophy. It was a consensus All-American and first team All-ACC this year, as well as second team All-ACC last year. Now, Marino, I have seen talk of him being kicked inside to guard, and this is the guy who is currently the consensus top tackle. Very nice mover for a big man, especially getting into the second level. Good patience and vision. I really liked his anchor. Minimal pushback. Showed flashes of violence. Feldman's freak list guy. The get off was a little average, flashes of violence, but I do think a lot of it looked a bit too cool and casual. I didn't think there was like a ton of fire out of him. I thought his hand placement was a little bit inconsistent. He was quite heavily penalised over 3 seasons. I've seen talk of his arms not being great, so we're going to need combine measurables, which we'll get next week. Had previous shoulder surgery. I don't think that's massively affected him because he had a really good 2025. Brick wall-like anchor, really nice speed, a bit to work on. I think if he can get more consistent with the hands, finish off rushes better. I do think he's probably a guy that's going to be going in the top 15. I liked him, but I wasn't totally wowed by him. So I'm at value.
He is projected a top 10, 12 pick, so you got to bear that in mind. Over the years, I have watched better tackles. There's some we've seen over the years where you've just banked and gone, yeah, solid, lock it down. Your Penny Sewells of the world. You just slot him in, don't even think twice about it. And he's got a bit of that about. It's a bit raw because he is a bit of a smooth operator, and that's a compliment. I saw a lot of plays where he doesn't look like he's going 100%. Sometimes you've got guys like this who just make it look easy, and he's got a bit of that about him. He is a smooth mover. His anchor's really good. His lower half are really well coordinated together. They move in partnership so he doesn't get ragged around too often. If you want to see the dirty side of you, does want to see him just drill people into the ground, but he doesn't need to do that because he's so effective in what he does already. So I see the hype. And for a guy who's not even 21 yet, that's really impressive because I think he was a 3-year starter, so I think he has a chance to start day one.
Arm length will definitely be interesting, but I think he does have powerful arms. He has that torque to turn an opponent, and his ability to hold an opponent at arm's length, nullifying the pass rush, is really good. Good at recovering when the play goes in an unexpected direction. But equally, I'm also a bit meh. If I had a top 10 pick, I wouldn't be taking Francis Mauigoa. Can overset or overcommit at times. I want to see him finish a play with that real mean streak, and I didn't really see that. I'm not as convinced by his anchor. I think he can be pushed back quite a bit by a power rusher with a good bull rush. He's good, but I'm not seeing a top 5 player. Maybe he is fairly solid, but just not particularly exciting. Plays with quite a high pad level, which is fine if some of the guys we're going to talk in this draft are 6'8", 6'9". If you're 6'6", I want to see the pad level a little bit lower, and I want to see better hand placement. I think his hand placement can be late. Also, maybe ACC tax, but I wonder how well he would have done in the SEC, which is more of a physical AFC North type conference. And I don't want to see talk about my top offensive tackle that I'm drafting in the top 5 transitioning to guard. I want a tackle to be a tackle. I landed on -1. I don't want to take him in the top 5 or 10. I don't think I would draft this guy. So as a result, I'm -1.
Spencer Fano, tackle out of Utah. Right tackle played in 24 and 25, but did play left tackle at 23, so we do have some position versatility there. According to PFF, he was credited with conceding just 3 sacks in 3 years. His spatial awareness is excellent. He does such a great job of just getting his body in the right place early in the run game to create that rushing lane. So from a defender's perspective, they cannot get through. It's spatial awareness, but it's also just how clued on he is with play calling. He knows the exact position he needs to be. He looked a little bit slender. He could probably afford with adding a few pounds. He plays to the whistle. There's a bit of nastiness about Fano. He's not afraid to finish the play with throwing a guy in the dirt. I wouldn't say he explodes off the line with athleticism, but his footwork is so clued on. He just gets himself into the right place at the right time. He doesn't waste movement to getting to the right place or engaging with defenders. He's so swift in that. His hands, very strong, very active, wants to initiate that contact, is less passive than some of the other tackles we'll see in this group who welcome the pressure to them. No, he wants to kick, he wants to get that first hit on him. His leverage is great. His ability to drop his backside, get his hips low. When he is put against a bull rush, I very rarely saw him put on skates. And I feel like if you do from the first step, his second step, he locks it down. And he just shuts the door to getting bull rushed. I'll go with +1. When you're looking at someone as good as that, and how often can we say they've got experience on both sides of the line? Whichever team gets this guy are going to be very pleased with themselves for sure.
Yeah, he's another young guy. He's 21 years of age. 0 sacks given up in 2025 and only 5 pressures given up. So I'm at value. I was just a bit more concerned with the leanness of his figure. I would like more pounds on him. I know he's quick and nimble, got really nice sweet feet, but I would like to sacrifice a bit of that to add a little bit more weight to him. NFL Draft Buzz put a really good quote. He's a tight end in a tackle's body. But then is it a tackle's body if he's only 300 and single-digit pounds? Outland Trophy winner, Polynesian coach, college football player of the year, unanimous All-American all this year, Big 12 offensive lineman of the year, 2-time first team All Big 12, plenty of accolades with Fano. But yeah, I felt like he was on his rear end more times than you would like to see, and I think the hands were a little high at times, and I felt like he was getting help with his double team. The guard was coming in to help him. He wasn't on an island as much as I'd expect to see. As you say, Mike, I liked a lot of what I saw. Versatility, the way he resets himself, nimble, moves pass rushes outside of the pocket really well, gets the second level really nicely.
At value as well. 357 pass blocking snaps and 0 sacks, 5 pressures, 5 hurries. But that's not what all of the tape showed me. He negated a really big downfield pass for a touchdown on 3rd and 5 against Texas Tech. Now, admittedly, Texas Tech had a good unit this year that he was playing against, but he was miles blocking downfield at the second level on a passing down. And I don't mean just, I think you're allowed, is it 3 or 4 yards? He was like 5, 6, 7 yards downfield, clearly blocking a guy as if it was a running snap, and it wasn't. And so that touchdown was wiped off the board, replayed 3rd down, and then he gave up a near sack. He was an outside rush, countered inside, and he was beating all ends up. The QB threw under pressure, and it was incomplete. So that's not what I want to see. I know that's been really specific, and I think most of the tape overall is good. He's an elite run blocker, drives players off the ball, speed to power and explosiveness is good. But I think the reason I've got him noted as 258 pounds is because he looks like a tight end sized tackle. He's a little bit scrappy. He's athletic. He's a people mover, but does it without the size. It's almost strange when you watch him how efficiently he can move a guy. And you think, oh, he shouldn't be able to move a guy. He doesn't look like he should be able to. I do worry about his anchor to a certain extent, but I think he uses his speed to recover very well. I think he uses his toolkit that he's got to the best of his abilities. At value overall for me. But yeah, I think those measurables are key, especially if he's 258 pounds, which would be ridiculous. But that arm length is 32. If that's not increased, that will be a concern for somebody. And he will probably be drink everybody, slide inside to guard. Caleb Lomu from Utah, 6'6", 304. Left tackle, very solid frame, good athleticism. He looks like a wrestler in pass protection, and that's unusual for a guy that you see on the outside. Normally it's the centers and the guards that do that kind of thing, but he does look like a wrestler. He counters and mirrors and redirects pass rushers really well. Looks good against both power rushers and speed rushers, although can be beaten on the outside by the quicker speed guys. I think he lacks a natural finish as a road grader. He is very much more of a dancing bear type. Decent NFL skill set. Size, it's 304 to 308, maybe a little bit on the light side. Good technique overall, but I think needs more power to survive consistently. His pass rushing diagnosis in particular, really good reaction ability to stunts and blitzes. A couple of knocks. He sometimes ends up on the floor quite often, so I don't know if that's a balance issue or a technique or there's something that's not quite right. He has a holding call potential, but also he releases too early at times and loses his man due to lack of grip. So he's either releasing too early or too late. Come out value overall. I saw a comparison to Bernard Raymond, which I thought was quite interesting. In terms of a development kind of tackle.
I think there might be a little bit of a concern in terms of size. There's a lot to like. He's another 0 sack man. Utah both bookended with 0 sacks in 2025. I like the hand placement at times, fighting to control his man, quick to adjust his feet. I watched the UCLA tape and there is some incredibly good burst. But there was a lack of focus at times. There's run out of batteries and just stood there like a statue. Oh yeah, again, just didn't see the aggression I like to see from him. He struggled to sustain blocks, particularly when he's in close quarters with defenders. He was going for flashiness over technique and over substance. Well, I'm actually a -1 for Lomu. I think out of the two Utah guys, I would probably throw my chips in for Fano over him.
I'd say I'm a bit higher than you, Mark. There's definitely plays that I loved and technique I loved. He's a great proponent of the trap block, for example. I think he's incredibly good at when he's driving forward. I think his footwork could do it a little bit, tidying up against the speed edge rushers, but fundamentally sound. I think he's a solid player. I think there's just some areas he needs to tidy up on a little bit.
Caden Proctor, the junior out of Alabama, will be 21 when the season starts. 6'7", 369 pounds. Nice.
This guy is the stereotypical Alabama meme where a kid is just 7 times the size of all the other kids around him.
So, yeah, this is a gigantic human being, Caden Proctor. Consensus All-American in 2025, won the SEC Jacobs Blocking Trophy. Was a first-team All-SEC this year as well. Second-team All-SEC last year, and he was a freshman All-American in 2023. Giant of a man, can hold pass rushers off really well. I think his anchor is really nice. Felt like he had the ability to counter pass rush moves. There was some really nice hand usage. He actually gave up 0 pressures against Georgia. Really impressed with what I saw out of Caden Proctor. Now, could he potentially benefit from losing weight to increase stamina throughout games? It might not hurt him to drop a few pounds. His aggression is a bit inconsistent. You saw it on tape against Georgia, but I don't think you saw it elsewhere. Yeah, he's good at countering pass rush moves, but once he does lose, I do think he struggles to recover at times. Again, he's got that bigger frame, and this is something that we might bring up a lot of times with bigger, taller tackles. May well struggle when people get underneath. Another guy that is being talked about being moved inside to guard, despite the big frame on him. So my least favorite thing, 17 sacks given up in his college career. That's the thing that shows up the most when you watch this tape. But my favorite thing about him, how many times was he used as a surprise offensive weapon? Lining up as an X receiver at times, lining up as a fullback to run through, lining up in Wildcat to run through. So technically lining up as a quarterback. Man, was that fun. That was the fun part. And that's what makes Caden Proctor such a unique prospect, the different ways you can use him in that. But it's a difficult one because on the one hand, he's a very fun evaluation. Fun seeing a man his size that surprisingly nimble around the field, even though he almost runs like a brick wall. But he has still got some surprising athleticism about him. He's stonewalling dudes, receiving a rushing option. Yeah, that's great. The difficulties in recovering, his oversetting, and the potential of him moving inside is a worry. Still give me +1 on him because I like the upside of what you've got with Caden Proctor more than I thought I was going to. He really pleasantly surprised me.
It goes to what I said earlier, isn't it, about the guys who are just #fun to watch. You started on the big hitter names who are technically sound, and you see Caden Proctor just annihilating lads in space. Like, him as a lead blocker isn't fair, but he's a card. I did see a lot of rushes where they got inside his chest. So again, it's the question of what's his arm length. At 360 odd, like, he's going to have to drop weight to play tackle because he has got limitations in his movement. Like, speed rushes really do cause him issues because of his height and his weight. He has leverage and balance issues. There's nothing you can do about that. Just because of the size of him, just looks like he is the perfect guy to kick into guard. He really does. Like, that is golden. His positive traits. I think if you're going to put a guy who suffers with movement laterally, not downhill, he's a bowling ball, he's fine. Like, but that's sort of moving around the pocket, speed rushers, leverage, balance, I'd be nervous. Yeah, I'd say at value. I think that's fair. You've got a guy with so many positive traits. And if he was on a team like the Lions, wow. Like, he ends up a cult hero in 2 years.
Very not penalised as well. Only 2 penalties this year. I forget that they played Georgia twice. In the championship game, 0 sacks, 0 hits, 1 hurry, 1 pressure. The first time they played Georgia, 0s across the board, 100% efficiency.
Wow.
Only 2 sacks this year. One of them in week 1 as well. So he's gone most of the year until week 16 without giving another one.
This guy is the definition of a corn-fed boy. He was from Iowa and nearly played for Iowa twice in his career, but he ended up staying at Alabama. How big are his arms? 34.5 inches, I'm led to believe. He's so powerful that on one snap, the defender's helmet flew off. He could be elite. His ceiling is sky high. His floor as a tackle, yeah, maybe that's on the low side, but equally you could find a place for this guy somewhere on the offensive line, presumably at guard. Would a team slim him down a little bit and give him a go at tackle? Would he be able to develop that kick slide a little bit better? He's got that mobility and athleticism. You can see he's not just standing there. He is a brick wall on wheels, and he's literally a huge man on screen. It's a really interesting evaluation. I've ended up with +1 overall. You can't draft that frame every day of the week. So you take a massive moldable piece of clay. You've got tackle upside if you can make that work. If not, you've got a solid guard. So I think that's a relatively safe pick because of his frame.
Yeah, he's never played guard in his college career. All left tackle except for the handful where he's inline tight end. It's just there's quite a fair few snaps at inline tight end. So I believe there were 5 non-blocking snaps that he had in 2025. Which would indicate the the little trick plays throughout the season.
51 pressures in 2 years. That's worth highlighting. So, yeah, maybe that does undermine his tackle kind of CV.
I think this is probably our first, would you say? But with the dancing bear receiver qualities.
Monroe Freeling, 6'7". I've got him 315, so optimum tackle size. 2 years left tackle, but did have some reps in 2024 and 2023 a right tackle. This guy, when he is asked to hit the second level and block, he's a man possessed. He initiates hits. He wants to make hits. He's a road grader for sure. That is his modus operandi. He wants to throw his weight around and let people know he's there. In the run game, he's a real effort dude. Like, his feet just keep going and going. He finishes the play. He uses his leverage quite well. His footwork is very quick as well, going around the pocket and pass plays. I didn't see him have major issues with speed rushers around the edge. His hands, whilst strong, they're not the most active. He can lock guys in and really grab it. I'd like to see him attack the chest a bit better and not just relying on that length. Solid base in the run game. So Monroe Freeling consensus is probably around the late 20s.
31 on the
currently.
yeah.
No, I would go +1. I do quite like him. He does have limitations, but I don't think it's massively material. I definitely want to see the length we're talking about, because I've seen rumors that it's like an 84-inch wingspan. He's going to be an absolute juggernaut. He is definitely one of these guys where I'm not talking about moving inside. This guy, tackle all day.
Agree with a lot of that. Good first step, good power, good stunt blitz recognition. He's a people mover. He's a plug and play NFL player at first glance.
I've got massive PTSD about that. A potential project Georgia left tackle.
I think this guy is a lot more of a polished product than Broderick Jones was coming out of college.
Agreed.
Just a solid, impressive, professional-looking tackle compared to some of the guys we've talked about so far. He looks undersized based on his frame, but isn't by his measurables. So I think this guy could potentially get a little bit bigger and more powerful. I think pass pro, solid. Run game, solid. Footwork, hand usage is awesome. Anchor's good. Work ethic's good. For me, I like to highlight a play. So Georgia versus Auburn. Georgia were backs to the wall in their own end zone. He puts a block in the outside, allowing an outside zone run for 10 to 15 yards to get Georgia completely clear from the end zone and able to play 1st and 10 on the next series in complete space. You just see him on the left side, bang, solid, torque, move the guy completely out of the run lane, and the running back had plenty of room to run. Development areas, I think, are coachable. Balance and lean is one area of development. He plays quite a lot over his feet, but he played more games in college than Broderick Jones, so 37 versus 31. I don't quite want to go as far to say size up his gold jacket now, but I'm not far off that. I think this guy will have a good NFL career, +1 Red Star.
Red Star!
If the Steelers need a left tackle in a poor class, this is the guy.
Love it.
Despite the PTSD that I had, I really liked what I saw. Monroe Freeling, I love his potential. The exceptional measurables. I think his athleticism is fantastic. He looks possibly smaller because his athleticism is so good. He's a former basketball player, and those qualities definitely show, not only in the athleticism, but the comfortableness that he has getting out into space and out to the boundary as well. I love the intensity of him, love the second level ferocity and the really solid anchor that he has. That Auburn game, he struggled at times against Keldrick Falk. I believe he's a top edge player in this draft.
That was a real battle.
That was a battle. Yeah, that's a definite. But it wasn't all awful. I think he did win a few reps in that as well. You're up against a top edge guy like that and you're 50-50. That's not too bad. He was a touch slow to react on occasion. Gets a little lungy in his first step. He did actually deal with an ankle injury throughout 2025 and he played through it. That shows some toughness, but we need to make sure that's not anything too bad. I just really like the upside of Monroe Freeling with proper coaching and making sure those injury concerns aren't an issue. So +1 for me.
Lovely
+1 consensus.
Are we saying road grader?
I think it's quite unique to have a road grading left tackle, but I think that's where Monroe's running ability and his torque and all the toolkit things he brings to the party is an interesting skill set mix.
I think he's got a little bit of dancing bear seasoning.
Yeah,
it's there.
yeah.
It's just give it a minute and it'll hit you. It's there. But,
it's the athleticism, isn't it? Sheer athleticism that he's got makes you think he just is a dancing bear, but he's like a dancing road grader. But ultimately, I think we're settled on
road grader.
Blake Miller out of Clemson, 6'6", 310. I've also seen 314, 35-inch arms. I watched some slightly older tape because 2025 wasn't the best year for Clemson. They were projected to be the best team in a number of areas, and they should have summer scouting national champions, essentially. But Clemson didn't have a great 2025 season. So I thought, okay, I'll watch the Miami tape from 2024. Now, Blake Miller spent a lot of the early part of the game in no man's land and running downs. He wasn't blocking anything. He struggled to identify who to block. Then when he tried to block somebody, he whiffed on that block. I didn't think he reacted well off the snap. The first quarter of that game was -2 worthy. To me, he didn't look like he had enough power. He didn't look like he had enough leverage, and he didn't look like he had enough technique to win consistently. Pad level was too high, just a bit unpolished. Most of his highlights are up against really small guys. He has had 2,800 snaps since 2022, recorded a 76.4 pass blocking grade in 24, 77.3 career run blocking grade. First team All ACC 2024 and 2025. What's his best positive? Perhaps that he's available every game. He's trying to be a road grader, but I don't think he's got the anger or the power in his game to do so. I don't trust him in pass protection. I don't trust him to be able to find a block, and if he finds one, he can whiff on it. -2. Sorry.
Wow. I could not disagree with you more. Clemson did have a bad year in 2025. Blake Miller did not. This guy's improved year on year, and I loved so much about him. I thought he had a great motor. I thought he was a heck of a mover, burst in the second level really nicely, had the ability to shed dudes to the ground. There's an amazing example of that early on against LSU, the way he just sheds a dude straight round down to the ground. Loved that. I thought his awareness and patience in pass protection was really nice, absorbs hits really nicely, played as a starter all 4 years. I think that shows some great durability. Academic honours throughout the entire college career. Dane Brugler wrote of his character, he's wired the right way. And Ketz, you've -2'd a youth wrestling state champion, and a former track athlete. Both of which I think you can see flashes of in the tape. I did think he was a little inconsistent. The LSU tape was great. The Syracuse tape was a bit average. His post-snap starts, and that leads a little bit of improvement, and gets a little bit too upright from that and get beaten underneath that way. He's a dancing bear, can lose his balance, a handful of concerns. I think Tom summed it up brilliantly. I don't think Blake Miller does anything spectacular, but I don't think he needs to. I think it's as solid as a rock, and that's what you really want to rely on as a tackle, is just being super solid and almost being invisible. I think if you're visible as a tackle, that's a bad thing. I absolutely love him. I think every con is coachable. Maybe there's some questions about his lower half in terms of the way he's framed, but I don't see that as an issue. But I think his pros are a quality standard. While the tape was a little bit inconsistent, it showed the makings of a top quality tackle. I'm a massive fan. +1 red star for me. Red star! So, Mike, are you going one way or the other here, or are you going to sit comfortably in the middle?
I'm in the spot, and I am sitting very comfortably in the middle. However, Mark, scooch over there and give me a red star drop, please. As soon as Tom messaged us saying this, I dropped him a message as well to go, I'm so glad you love him as well, because so do I. Look, is he the most polished tackle in the world? No, but thank you. His fundamentals are so solid. He could tidy up his handwork a little bit. Sometimes it gets a little bit wide. He misses his blocker, but his movement skills are great. His first step out of his stance, he's got a real solid giddy up. He maintains a wide base throughout, which gives him that really low center of gravity, really helps with his leverage. He's not guilty of collapsing the pocket on his side. I just think he has such a high floor. There are individuals in this class that have better traits, but I think as a combination, he is right up there. He's a +1 for me all day. I absolutely love it. His tape was fun to watch. It really was. Because he's not perfect. He is a little bit raw, but I think he's got a really high floor. I'm so glad you're thinking the same thing as well, because I was worried, because he was the 17th O-lineman I watched. Wow, have I found one here? I'm so glad I'm on the same boat with you, man. Yeah, I think he's great.
Arizona State. Max Anna couldn't even finish it. I'm going to need to find a pronunciation on this. Hyenachor? I'm sure it's not sure. I'm sure it's
almost
pronounced.
has the word anchor in it, which for an offensive tackle, that's got to be good.
Hyenachor. Max Hyenachor, the redshirt senior out of Arizona State, formerly of East Los Angeles. 6'6", 325 pounds. Had a really nice Senior Bowl showing. 0 sacks allowed in 2025, which is always great to see. Aggressive hand fighter who absorbed blows. There's a lot of good movers in this class. Hyenachor is one of those. The one guy in this class who may well have held off David Bailey the best. Absurd first step. Finishes blocks off in pass protection really well. The issue is he started at East Los Angeles from scratch. because he was born in Nigeria and he didn't move to the US until he was 13. He didn't get onto the gridiron until he got to East Los Angeles. He's relatively experienced.
He's got a soccer and basketball background, which helps him with his kind of fluid movement that's very uncommon for a lot of these guys.
So he played at East Los Angeles in JUCO. He played 2 years there, learning the game from scratch, became one of the most coveted JUCO offensive tackles, had a lot of teams calling for him and ended up going to Arizona State. He had 8 penalties in 2025, P&I's lot. He needs to sustain blocks in the run game the same way he does in pass protection. A lot of work needed there. The first step is great. Maybe it's too jumpy. He could be called for a lot of false starts at the next level, but some exceptional pass pro on tape. Senior Bowl standout. Had labrum surgery in 2024. He didn't miss any game time because of it, but he did miss a lot of the spring training off season. But he went through 2024 and 2025 with minimal issues there. Really hard not to root for him, how he's built himself up from scratch to where he is now. So I'm a +1.
I think whatever O-line coach gets him is just going to be licking their lips, because his athleticism with his football and basketball background, as you mentioned, Ketz is brilliant. He's he might be one of the best movers we've talked about so far with that athleticism, but he is raw. Like, his technical ability is raw. His footwork can be a little bit sticky. His hands can be a little bit wide, attacking the rusher. He can roll in the athleticism to help him recover in those situations and rely on that. That's not going to really do it for him day in, day out in the pros, because he's going to be against 10-year vets who see this stuff all the time. He may need a year. He's not a projected first rounder, so I don't feel too bad in saying that. Building that technical, solid foundation with him could be huge. Just hasn't got that level of experience throughout his teen years. Fascinating prospect, and one I want to keep my eye on.
He's the definition of a project tackle. He's a really intriguing prospect because all the things like hand placement, that's technical, you can teach that. Can mirror and nullify an opponent in pass protection, can identify stunts and blitzes. Run blocking's a little hit and miss. When he wins the leverage battle, he's got the torque to move a guy. He's a moldable piece of clay. He's very raw. Obviously, he doesn't have the background of someone that's played tackle their entire life. If you're going to take a project tackle, second, third round, that's decent enough value for a guy that if you have the right coaching, he could really push on. He's 40 on the consensus board. Why not take a gamble on him in the second round? Mike, what was your value on him?
I'll take a at value.
Okay, so I didn't hear yours.
At value.
Caleb Tierney, a left tackle out of Northwestern. 6'7", 325. Dual sport athlete, played football, played basketball. He was a career left tackle. Great core strength and leverage when he's dealing with rushers up the middle or bull rushes or stunts coming into the chest. Extremely long arms, and he uses them so well. People moving in the run game. His ability, zone blocking, it was brilliant. His targeting ability was phenomenal. He's great awareness and play recognition. He spots the stunts, he spots the blitzers. He's got such a solid foundation there. His hand placement could just do a little bit of improving. Again, sometimes it gets a little bit wide. And when it's a speed rusher hitting around the edge, he needs to set his arms a bit better so the defenders can utilize that leverage and get out of his hands. When he's asked to block in space, he's a riot. He's great fun to watch, wants to inflict pain on his opponents and keeps his eyes. And I go back to the awareness point. He makes one play, he looks for the next guy. There are guys here with better footwork, but he's got a solid base there. Whilst he is an angry man in space and he has the awareness, he's not the most athletic mover in the world. He's a little bit clunky. His footwork can be a little bit laboured, a little bit robotic, but there's some very good core fundamentals there. I think consensus board has him around the second roundish.
65, start of the third.
I'd go +1 then. I think he could be a second rounder, so I'll take a +1 on him.
Welcome to the Tampa Bay's roster. I felt very middle of the road looking at Tin, and I didn't think he was a bad player by any stretch. Doesn't leap off the tape, which we've already said with Blake Miller. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that is a good thing. Just inconsistent. He looked really sharp against Oregon, but then you'd watch the Michigan tape and he felt just completely outplayed on that one. The biggest concern I have, apparently he has 31-inch arms.
I thought his reach was half decent. I'm a bit worried now.
He's a big guy, hits hard, gets set for second contact really quickly. He's got decent speed. You said it was laboured, but I think it's still decent, especially for a guy his size. I don't think he often gets fooled by pass rush moves. He's got sharp eye for the ball. Nothing particularly flashy, bit inconsistent, and can be gotten underneath again. The typical anybody who's 6'7" and above it's just naturally going to happen that you get beaten underneath. Fine player. I've got him at value, middle of the road. As you want to call it, Tampa Beige, boring green, Notre Dame, Michigan. Take your pick.
Blandford one was another one.
Bland.
4-year player at Northwestern. He's undervalued, but it's a solid O-line school. 2,700 career college snaps, solid pass blocker. His pass protection looks comfortable. Hand fighting is good. Counters moves well. Solid anchor and footwork with a solid base. A strength upper and lower body allows him to physically dominate at times. Athleticism, I think it's not too bad at all. He seems to be explosive, gets down to the second level in the run game with some road grader potential. I think he's a solid left tackle with prototypical size for a rookie, given that he's 6'7", 325. If you need a left tackle in the third round, you're not going to get better value than this. I think he'll pass protect with years to come. I think he's got some upside. Tampa Beige is a little bit harsh because I saw solid tackle on tape, so +1 for me.
Well, that's the thing. I saw a solid tackle, just a little bit middle of the road. It didn't click with me as much as it did with some of these Blake Millers of the world. But yeah, I certainly don't think he's a bad player by any stretch. What was that value?
Jennings Dunker, 6'4", 320 pounds, straight out of the great state of Iowa. He is road grader, and he is my sleeper.
Oh, he's your sleeper.
Dive. Jennings Dunker from Iowa. He is an instant corn-fed vibe scouting positive. If you can run them into the goalpost, that's nice, but I'd rather put them on their back. Brackets R. His quarterback referred to him as a total meathead. He is a 2-time hay bale toss champion.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
This guy has more torque. He moves dudes away from the run like he's pushing around a wide receiver at times. He has a 90.2 PFF run blocking grade. Now, the downside is potentially his size. I suspect he might end up as a guard. 6'4" and 7/8, 320 pounds weight, arm length 34. He has a chance to stay at tackle. He's got elite upper body strength, and as a result, I think he has the power to stay as right tackle. He's a day one road grader. He should be given an opportunity to tie out. He's plug and play in the interior if he doesn't work out as a right tackle. Relatively low risk upside. I think there's every argument to take this guy in the first couple of days of the NFL draft. Plays a little bit out of control at sometimes, as if that's a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't have consistent balance that you might expect from a guy getting this much buzz. Ends up on the deck quite a lot. But I tell you what, pancake day, Dunker, because he produces pancakes with a better efficiency than most commercial kitchens.
Wow.
He's not the fastest player on the field. Pass protection tape is a little bit of a concern. Disengages too early in pass protection. But he is your road grade sleeper. Caleb Johnson has been a potential failure on the Steelers because he didn't have this man road grading for him. He is my sleeper, and I would be very happy if this man from Iowa ended up in black and gold. This guy is hella fun. Thank you.
I think he's going to be a guard. I don't think it's necessarily even the measurables. They are borderline, but the zone blocking and the ferocity heading into the backfield, they'd make tremendous guard traits. Don't get it twisted. I really like Jennings Dunker as a player. But my favorite thing about Jennings Dunker is this quote about dominating D linemen. This is his exact quote. "It's like crack. I love it. I wish I could get more of it." Ooh, you love that. Dunker's going to be a fan favorite. Big, nasty road grader type. Uppercuts inside, rhinos into people in the second level with force. A relatively clean penalty history. He's not the most athletic dude in the world. He struggles to recover from big push-offs, but he does get beaten inside quite a lot, in fact, and that is a worry. If it was tackle, I'd probably be more at value, but I'm a +1 guard on him. He said he's absolutely fine, but if a team wants to have him as a guard.
Yeah, Mario, I'm totally on board with you, mate. He's a guard for me, and it isn't the physical, it's the athleticism. You mentioned about seeing him beaten inside. I saw him struggle with speed rushers on the outside. He can't get to the right place quick enough in that lateral movement. And I find as well, certain guys who maybe do lack that athleticism was that when in a passing play, he doesn't turn his body where his back follows the quarterback around the pocket. So he will easily get beaten by an outside speed rusher because he hasn't transitioned and applied weight to his right side to give him that movement around the pocket. Which is why you can do that at guard. That's totally fine. So for me, he's definitely a guard, but he'll be great fun as well. He's, late day 2. We need a guard. He's a cult hero sort of guy. He's great crack.
Isaiah World, Oregon. 6'8". I've got him as 312. He could be bigger. You love the length measurables. He's violent. Decent athlete. Decent amount of upper body strength. Yeah, he's only given up 2 sacks over the last 2 years, which is great. He definitely looks like the beanpole. I think he needs to add on mass. Limited big opponent experience. He was at Oregon in 2025, but he was at Nevada before that for a few years. didn't get a ton of experience. Hands are often too wide, gets exposed underneath, average to poor recovery skills, particularly in the run game where I think he needs an absolute heaving of work. The way back steps can look really ugly. It looks unnatural to him. It's really horrible. The Texas Tech tape I've said is a disaster class in offensive line play. You don't hate the lack of sacks or violence, but against top tier talent, the tape is really rough as hell. He's a project that I'm not willing to take a chance on, not on day 2.
Given how high he is on the consensus board, I might be leaning the same way, actually. Nearly 20 penalties as well in the last 2 years. Worries me quite a bit. There are positives too. His build in terms of his alleged arm length. There's inconsistencies, and like you said, on the biggest stage, just seemed to struggle too much.
He's got the prototypical frame for a tackle and the arm length, just to comment on it. If T-Rexes had Isaiah World's arm length, they'd still be roaming the earth today. But that's where the positives end. He can be beaten by speed. He's just not fast enough reacting compared to other tackles in this class. Constantly recovering again and again. Every positive thing he does is recovering from a mistake he's made initially. Doesn't have a great first step. The snap-to-snap technique isn't reliable. Alignment, anticipation, balance, they're all out. Whiffs on tape where a guy gets past him on the inside, doesn't react to it. A guy gets past him on the outside, and he doesn't deal with either. Pad level issues because he's 6'8". He's too high up. He needs to get a lot lower, but he's too big to do that. He's a penalty magnet. And on top of that, this week it was announced that he suffered a torn ACL in his left knee.
Yes,
during the playoff game versus Indiana.
Oh, no.
Had surgery earlier this month, won't be attending the combine, will be available for medical rechecks and top 30 visits. High upside given the size and the frame, but the low floor scares me. The floor could be a trap door. Like, it could literally open at any point. He's got so many areas that you think he's not even a moldable piece of clay. People just run past him.
Where is he consensus big board?
87.
Guys, is Isaiah World a -2 to you? Or is it just
Isaiah
me?
World is a -2 for me.
I've got to go -1. I'll go to Duke and take Brian Parker, the second. Career right tackle, but did see a lot of snaps in 2023 at left tackle. In the run game, loved them. Big, aggressive hitter, hits the hole really well, looks for the defenders, bursts out of the stance, really wants to engage with defenders. One of his biggest wins was his awareness when he disengages, when you see delayed blitzer or the stunt move. He disengages off his blocker, passes them over to the guard and then takes on the next rusher coming in. The communication they have on that line is phenomenal, and I get it's a team game, but when you're watching a guy and your guy's in the middle of that, love it. His down blocking is impressive. His footwork could be a little bit tied up, especially when against speed rushers. He can sometimes become a little bit of step behind. But against the power rushers, he's got such a good frame and his wide base. He locks his hips down, his backside's low. Good at swallowing pressure and then releasing it back. Just watch that balance, watch that footwork from a leverage perspective. And he's got good hands. So I'm going to go a sleeper soundbite if you can give me that one, please. Thank you. Thank you. I was pleasantly surprised with Brian Parker.
I feel like we've been in lockstep for a lot of this, Mike.
Love
Great.
it.
That's where this ends, to be honest with you.
Go on, Mark.
I had him down as 100% being a guard at the next level.
If he's going to go guard, he has to bulk up from 305.
The arms are concerning for me as well. Not a ton of pressure given up throughout his college career, and last year had 0 sacks. But 2025, ton of hurries and pressures. I think there were areas which were really nice. I like the athlete. I like the fighter, the hand placement, but felt he was slow to react at times. I thought he was beaten inside too easily. I was concerned a little bit about the measurables for him on the outside. It did have a good Shrine Bowl showing. I'm a -1 on him. He needs to bulk up. If he's going to be a guard, I worry about the measurables as well as a tackler. I guess when you're in that no man's land, that worries me a lot.
That's interesting. I did read somewhere that projected him to be a centre. Like, man's never played centre in his life. Like, what?
No, well, that's the thing.
I don't understand how you do that. You put him tackle where he plays. Where is he on the big board?
He is 90.
Really? Wow. I'll go at value. That is quite high.
Jude Bowery, Boston College, 6'5", 309. Quite negative on this guy. Seems to give up a lot of ground in pass protection and then recovers. His anchor allows the boat to drift halfway across the harbour before he stops or slows or tries to prevent the rusher. It's like your left tackle is on skates. Gives up his chest very easily. He's stretched vertically, awkwardly to the extent I'm worried about injuries occurring. Hand placement, don't like it. Hop step is too late to be effective. Doesn't show aggression at the point of attack. This guy hasn't given up a sack in 2 years. I don't know how. His technique is awful. I've watched tape. I've seen him beaten on the inside. I've watched tape and seen him beaten on the outside. I hate it. It scares me. I don't want him anywhere near the Steelers. There are run-down snaps where the runner gets tackled as Bowery doesn't clear the guy out of the way due to a lack of power. I'm out -2.
For once, I'm actually on Ketz's side with this one. 0 sacks given up in 2025 and only 2 last year. What? How? Only 4 penalty flags as well. But he's nimble. He can hold rushes well, and particularly in the run game, I think, to create some holes. His Senior Bowl showing was not too bad, but that Clemson tape, it's really, really bad. Against Georgia Tech, gets down to the second level, and he's just yanked down by a linebacker, just forced to the ground. He had a leg injury that forced him out of a couple of games in 2025. Arm length is a concern. There are a little bit of upside to him, and I think while he's not a starter, he could be a decent tackle eligible in situational downs. His nimbleness and his athleticism could help him there. Not a tremendous amount of snaps either, but he's 136 on the consensus board. Wouldn't really take a flyer on that. Not greatly enthused by this guy. I'm at -1. Markel Bell. The other side of the Miami line to Francis Mauigoa for this 6'9", 345-pound man. This man is gigantic. Miami from 2024 to 2025. He was at Holmes Community College from 2022 to 2023. JUCO division there. Getz, can I have a sleeper drop, please?
Dive.
Man, I love this guy. He uses every single inch of his arm length to keep the rushers at bay. Just uses his size to the absolute best of his ability. Strong anchor. He may not be as athletic as some of the other guys in this class, but I still think for his massive size, he moves really well. 0 sacks in 2025, only 1 hit given up. If you're in a goal-to-go situation, just run it behind him and you will get into the end zone. Rough start to his Senior Bowl practices, but he really bounced back, and I really like to see guys who end the week well. He's a 2-year guy at Miami, so he's had minimal starts at the FBS level. He's a little slow to react to counter moves. Obviously, with the size that's 6'9", it's a permanent leverage issue in terms of being beaten underneath, which is a concern. You can't coach height out of somebody, but definitely want to get him with a run blocking coach. Really needs to work at sustaining blocks well in the second level. He had 7 penalties in 2025, which he needs to clear up. From a 0-star JUCO recruit to a national championship starter, this guy has just clawed his way up the mountain. He is a ginormous human being. There's plenty to work on, especially in the run game, but I am a +1.
He's one of them. You don't see that much from him in the run game, but when he does block a guy in space, oh mama, does that boy know about it. This guy is still raw. His upside could be huge. What is he, 190 on the consensus board? He was 175 the other day when I first looked at him. The toolkit is fantastic. The value of the position obviously adds to that. Sneaky athletic for his size as well. Definitely needs a little bit of development, but he's got the frame that can't be taught. Heavy hands and grip strength. Yeah, he's almost too big because of that leverage issue. As you say, guys can get twitchy speed rushers are going to eat against him and get underneath and round him, but the tape's good. It's exciting, and he's played at that top sort of level. So yeah, 190. Is he really going to fall that far? I can't see it. +1.
Ooh, +1, nice. Haven't seen him yet, lads.
How have you not seen him? You could look out your window and see him.
There he is.
He'd be one of the biggest players in NFL history if he gets his start.
Trey Zern III, 6'6", 319. He was awarded the Jacobs Blocking Trophy as the SEC's top offensive lineman for this season. First team All-SEC. He's known for his elite pass blocking with very limited sacks allowed. Most of his 650 snaps at offensive tackle, he had 74 snaps at center against South Carolina and 126 snaps in total across the season at center. So he does have versatility. He's known for his athleticism, size, and technical skill. I think speed rushers could exploit a weakness around the outside. He undersets a little bit with his kick slide. It's not very deep. I think elite bend from an NFL speed rusher could undo some of his strengths. He can just throw an arm out there at times and hope for the best. If you want to draft this guy, don't watch the Senior Bowl one-on-ones because he got beat by Arme Tucker on an inside move. His hand punch was ineffective versus Lee Hunter. He mirrored very well initially, but then Zane Durant lost his anchor. Those 3 snaps would leave you with concern. He's got 4+ years of SEC starting experience, 3,000 career snaps. He's got good awareness, doesn't tend to miss assignments, consistently diagnoses twists and stunts and trickeration that the defense throws at him. Good wide kick slide in pass protection. As I've said, that can sometimes work against him. He's got a high work ethic, a leader, a team captain, and definitely plays through the whistle. Arm length is a concern. I've got 32 and 7/8. That's a little bit under where you'd potentially want it. I don't like his power in the run game. The stats are good, but the eye test, I'm not so sure. Round 3 or round 4 designation. He's 153 on the consensus board. That value.
I do think he will be a centre at the next level. The arm length is a problem, and he's already taken the snaps at centre. His pass blocking grades across the board in 2025 were absolutely superb. 1 penalty just given up all year, line versatility. He's got a heck of a burst on him. He can be a bit of a mauler in the run game, despite some of the issues. He can be over-aggressive, really oversetting at times. Susceptible to counter moves as well. As a tackle, I'm not really sure because I see him as a centre. I'd be a +1 interior guy. But if you need him to kick out a tackle in a pinch, it's nice to know that he's been able to do it in the past.
A good emergency swing tackle in.
Soon has played reps in centre. I've got him at 6'7". That's a very tall centre. So I think his issue playing tackle is his athleticism and his movement, footwork. I don't think is that smooth. They asked him to run some pull plays. It just looks so awkward for him. It doesn't look coordinated when trying to find blockers or find defenders out in space. I'm going to go -1 with Trey Zone. I wasn't overly impressed with him. Now, that could just be me looking at him as if he was a tackle, I'm not going to be overly impressed. -1. Austin Barber out of Florida, 6'6", 3'4", career left tackle last 3 years. Gets him out nice and early in the play. Doesn't wait for the guy to come to him before pounding his arms up in the air. He gets him out. Lets him know he means business. I'd like to see him drive a little bit more in pass protection. Sometimes can be a little bit passive when contact is initiated. Decent, competent footwork without being a real smooth operator. I would like to see a little bit of urgency though with his movement. A little bit more speed, a little bit more zip. But he does seem like a big old unit of a lad. Like he looks thick as oatmeal. In the run game, man possess, it's down blocking on the weak side, down blocking on the strong side. He does a great job of creating lanes in zone blocking scheme. He could do some serious damage. Needs to watch leverage, something get a little bit too high, pad a little bit high. Love his hands, hand usage, hand strength. Gets him in the right position, isn't too wide, gets him in nice and centre, nice and tight. He's got such positive traits. I want to see more of them. He's got that ability to notch it up a gear. Can I ask consensus?
Austin Barber is 116 on the consensus board.
I'll take a +1. He's got all the traits to be an incredibly talented tackle. He just needs to iron out his get off speed. You can see the 3 sacks this year, albeit just 1 hit. Solid all-round player. He's got a chance to be a starter. I'm not going to question anything. He is a tackle.
I was a +1 run blocker and a -2 pass pro on this guy.
Wow.
Against A&M, he had no anchor whatsoever. Constantly being pushed back. It was a really ugly game. I thought the Miami tape wasn't much better. 29 penalties over his college career. That's a massive concern.
I didn't know that.
Good build. Good mover. Run game, absolutely no problems. Former basketball player. The athleticism shows there. I think his comfortableness in space shows it. Had a decent senior bowl, and the run side of it is pretty much there. Every bit of coaching needs to go towards the pass pro. It was rough. I was a -1 altogether.
We both got very different opinions on his hand. That's fascinating because your movement, you can argue.
That's the thing with the UKSP. You always get an overall rounded opinion on a player